Hi YouTube. It's been 2 months and 3 days exactly since my TLIF surgery, and I thought quite a good time to give you an update as quite a lot has happened in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So firstly, I saw my surgeon this week for my 2-month follow-up appointment. I had to have x-rays taken, and I'm very pleased to report that the pedicle screws, rods and spacer are in exactly the same position as they were on the day after the surgery, which is fantastic news. And you can see the pictures of the x-rays that were taken as I'm speaking. So given that typically, bones take 6 to 8 weeks to heal, I really think it's a very good sign in terms of the recovery. Definitely reduces the risk of the screws pulling out or anything like that for the time being. Of course, we're still got to be careful, but it really has been great news. So I saw the physiotherapist as well, the physio that helped me in the hospital and works with the doctor. And basically the focus now moves to regaining mobility. So I've been given a lot more stretching type exercises to do, including twisting and trying to get mobility back in the lower lumbar spine, and also some strengthening. So things like bridges, planks, push-ups, that sort of stuff, crunches that I couldn't do before, I'm now allowed to do, and really looking forward to doing that and just building up the strength in my core in particular. Also been told that I can start doing some light jogging in a couple of weeks once I start feeling a bit stronger. So what that would entail probably is, jog for 10 seconds and walk for 2 minutes type of thing, and just slowly build up the kind of tolerance to that. And I'm also okay to start doing some light weights in the gym, but of course, bearing in mind there are still some lifting limitations, so I can't bend and lift anything. So my take on it therefore is very much that it's probably going to be more machine-based work that doesn't put any pressure on the spine, and certainly nothing that compresses the spine in the short term anyway. When I saw the surgeon, he also told me to start weaning myself off the brace and make sure that I'm off that in the next couple of weeks. And also said that in a couple of weeks, if I'm feeling stronger, I can even start trying playing a little bit of golf and building that up slowly, which is very exciting as I'm quite a keen golfer. But his view basically was that, at the 2-month mark, you're kind of halfway through the healing process relative to the operation that I've had. And that after 4 months, you'll start feeling a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident, and kind of a lot closer to getting back to normal life. So for the last 2 or 3 days, I've been doing the mobilization exercises that the physio gave me. And I must say, it definitely has made a huge difference. I think a lot of the discomfort I had previously was just because the muscles were, tight and kind of achy from not being used or stretched in 2 months. And since I've been doing the kind of mobilization of my lumbar spine, I really do feel a lot better. It's really made a huge difference. I've also started pushing, kind of on longer walks. So last weekend, for example, I did a 5.5K walk in one go. So that's just over 3 miles. Not too much discomfort on the walk. I definitely did start feeling a bit tired towards the end, as you would expect, but also good to see that I can push my body a little bit like that, and keen to keep building on that. Also started seeing my local physiotherapists for the last week or so, and what he's been doing mainly is focusing on some massage work around the lower back and the glutes, and also giving me some mobilization exercises, gently bending forward and so on, which is also helping. So we'll definitely continue doing that, and at some stage over the next month or so, maybe then start seeing a biokineticist for the kind of final phase rehab, and just make sure that all the muscles that need to be strengthened back up after the surgery do get strengthened back up. So in terms of pain, generally speaking, it has improved quite a lot in the last couple of weeks. So I don't need to take painkillers every day anymore. What I do find is on those days where I do push a little bit too hard, I do still get some pain, and mainly it's because of inflammation. So I take a couple of ibuprofen, and generally speaking, that helps it to settle down for a couple of days, or until the next time I push a little bit too hard. I do still feel a bit achy when I lie down in particular. So, I mean, even this evening when I got home, I'd been into the office on my feet and sitting down all day, and came home and lay down and put my kids to bed. And as soon as I got up half an hour later, I could definitely feel the muscles had kind of tightened up. So what I did find is I looked at a couple of other, or watched a couple of other YouTube videos, and it does seem to be something that's fairly common. Most people, the kind of 8 to 12 a week mark, still complain a little bit about the kind of soreness and achiness after lying down. What I have found, however, is that since I've been doing the mobilization exercises in the mornings, it's not quite as acute as it used to be. I do still have some pain, in the sciatic nerve in my left leg when, for example, I do nerve flossing exercises or try and stretch my hamstring. I have spoken to two physiotherapists as well as the surgeon about that, and no one seems overly concerned. They all seem to feel that it's because of the nerve being compressed for more than a month, and also because of the trauma of the surgery. And the way the one physio put it to me is that even though you're asleep while the surgery is taking place, your body's not. So it very much is aware of the trauma you're going through, being cut and all the kind of activity that takes place in your lumbar spine, the screws and the drilling and whatever else. So immediately it kind of goes into a kind of protective state to try and minimize any further damage. And what that sometimes can do is kind of tighten up the sciatic nerve and make the sciatic nerve become a bit more protective around certain type of movements. So I'm going to take the advice for now and not be too concerned. Keep doing the nerve flossing and the exercises, and hopefully in the next month or so that will settle down. What has really improved though is the numbness I felt in my on the outside of my left leg and on my left foot. So I think I explained previously that prior to my surgery I could barely feel anything. It was completely numb on the outside of my left leg and my left foot, and that is almost completely resolved. I would say I'm at about 97% now, so I'm very confident that it should make a full recovery. What's next for me? So for the next month or so, take the advice of the physiotherapist and the doctor. Do the mobilization exercises, start doing a bit more strength, with special focus on the core, and just gently start building up the activity more and more. And basically see what happens. I'm really keen to try a bit of jogging maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, and also getting back into golf, as I mentioned, to start getting a little bit more back to normal. So just a final note, you will have good days and bad days, as I have. On some of the bad days, when you're kind of sore and achy, like I've certainly been the last 4 weeks since we spoke, you don't feel like doing anything other than just kind of lying down. I generally tend to get up and go for a walk or do something active, which tends to make me feel better immediately. But yeah, as I say, you will have those days. Don't let them get you down, because you will feel that every couple of weeks you certainly notice a step change in terms of how you're feeling, even though on a kind of day-to-day basis it doesn't feel like there's much improvement. So anyway, that's all I had to share. So as I say, at the 2-month mark, definitely feeling a lot better than I did during my last update, and very positive that things will get back to normal over time, as long as I'm patient. So that's it. So let me share a bit more with you once I get to the kind of 3-month point. Cheers.